He's only 39, yet in golfing terms, Paul Casey is a relatively old hand. With 16 professional wins and 3 Ryder Cup triumphs to his name, he could be forgiven for resting on his laurels. But the Englishman remains as hungry for success as ever. The former world number 3 has his sights set on breaking back into the top 10 and claiming that elusive major.
It's the quickest 17 years I've ever had. The good thing is, it's, starting this 2017 season, I'm as enthusiastic about it as I was when I started my professional career. And probably a lot more, and certainly a lot more appreciative of being able to do it for as long as I have. Having had ups and downs and knowing what I know now about how difficult golf can be and what a great game it is. And now I'm being classed as like a veteran. It's quite sad, really.
A strong 2016 cemented Casey's place back in the world's top 20. He may not have added to his wins column, but top 10 finishes at the Masters, the PGA Championship, and 2 runners-up spots in the FedEx Cup playoffs, all signs that Casey was heading back in the right direction.
Last year was great the way it finished. I actually wish it could have kept going to some degree. There were a lot of things about last year which I was happy. I had Johnny McLaren, aka Johnny Longsocks, on the bag. And so there was a period there where I was learning a lot from him, he was learning a little bit from me. And we were just trying to implement a lot of stuff that we both had learnt through the years, and maybe a little frustrating until the sort of midpoint. The results really weren't there, even though we were working incredibly hard. And then when things got going, which was really towards FedEx Cup to the playoff stuff, it felt great, and we just got on a run and ran up against Dustin and Rory, in a couple of playoff events. Otherwise, maybe there might have been a victory, in the season. But took a lot out of that. Felt like I had really good control of and an understanding and enjoying my time on the golf course. So we're trying to figure out exactly what we had late last year, and trying to bottle that and open that bottle up and start again this year. It's difficult, golf's one of those, it's sort of the intangibles, but, touch wood, we can do that.
2 years ago, Casey relinquished his membership of the European Tour to concentrate solely on the PGA circuit. The decision looks to have paid off with a climb back up the world rankings. But it also cost him a likely captain's pick for last year's Ryder Cup. He'll be ineligible for Paris in 2018 unless he rejoins the European Tour beforehand.
It's been a full 2 years now since I was last a member of the Tour, European Tour, and the reasons I said it was family reasons, and I found it, people forget, I found it difficult to play both tours. When I didn't renew my membership in Europe, I was outside the top 50, and your focus, Lex had just been born, outside the top 50, struggling with the game. It places an incredible load, on a player from a professional angle, but also a family one as well. And it was too much. So for me, family came first. And very, very difficult decision. It's one it took a long time to make sure I was comfortable making that decision. It wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. And I miss playing on the European Tour. And I'll mention it because you haven't yet, but Ryder Cup always gets thrown in there, and it was nothing to do with the decision-making process. And that's the one thing, actually, that hurts the most, is not being able to play that. That's a massive plus when it comes to playing the European Tour. Having missed out and not being at Hazeltine, not having a chance of being at Hazeltine, it makes me think about it a lot. But I can certainly look you in the eye and say, I really want to play another Ryder Cup. Before I retire in golf, I'd love to play another Ryder Cup, and I really think I will.
After a relatively lean time, confidence is clearly building. 2 runners-up finishes in the FedEx Cup playoffs saw Casey come close to what would have been a first win in nearly 2 years. Getting over that line again is the next target.
Not running into Dustin and Rory would be a start. There was, what I was happy with, the opportunities I had last year was, I hadn't been in the mix necessarily a lot when I got to the Deutsche Bank event. And although I didn't make a lot of mistakes, it wasn't quite there. And I learned from that the very next week. And again, although I didn't win, I really didn't put a foot wrong. It's such a fine line between, you know, sort of winner and bridesmaid. I will say this: I've won, you know, a few events. I know how to win. It's just a matter of regaining that tiny little final piece.